Oh, hi everyone. I know this month is officially the 20th anniversary of a fan favourite Nickelodeon movie of mine called The Wild Thornberrys movie. As I know that this cartoon which ran from 1998 to 2004 had an animated movie like no other. And long before we had Keeper of the Age of Wonder Beasts, this cartoon is why I think it's the predecessor to what I see. That long ago, the year 2002 was the big one for Nickelodeon. When they released this movie, this one, like before we had Sonic the Hedgehog 2, this is quite an interesting movie, as it dealt with the story of Eliza Thornberry and on a quest to save a cheetah cub named Tally from Rooster's poachers. So the plot is simple. Eliza Thornberry plays with a family of cheetahs in East Africa's Kenya after her mother, Akela, puts her in charge of the cubs. But Eliza accidentally strays too far from the cheetah's home. But the poachers kidnap one of the cubs, Tally. But she's determined to save the cub. But that causes her sister, Debbie, to tell everyone about Eliza's antics. This prompts her to hire a straight-laced Cordelia, who's the grandmother from London, is that she decides to send Eliza to a boarding school in London for her safety, much to Debbie's dismay. I know, despite Debbie's charging, Eliza was forced to go to a boarding school just like Harry Potter got sent to Hogwarts. However, Debbie wanted a normal life, but her pet chimpanzee Darwin has stowed away in a suitcase that he was not supposed to go there. Although she had this dream when Shaman Minyambo tells her to save Tally. She convinces Sarah Wellington to buy plane tickets to take her back to Africa, or take a train from Nairobi. This time, she encounters injured male rhinos who were shot in the river by the same poachers who kidnapped Tally. They jump off the train to save the rhino with the help of the veterinarians, Sloane Blackburn and Bree Blackburn. But Debbie gets left alone from her feral adopted younger brother Donnie at their convey, Alangolam. To make things worse, Nigel and Marianne go to film the solar eclipse at Temple Valley. But Eliza returns to the convey for supplies and has a small confrontation with Debbie, who explains to know why she ran away from London to give up her chance for a normal life. But this time, Eliza locks Debbie in a cage, but Debbie escapes and pursues her. But Darwin and Donnie and Cordelia and her husband, Colonel Radcliffe, are trying to find Eliza and take her back to London before Nigel and Marianne find out. However, they met up with Nigel and Marianne to inform them of Eliza's escape. They also begin searching for Debbie, Eliza, Donnie and Darwin. So Darwin, Eliza and Donnie confront a gorilla who looks like King Kong, who mentions that the people are setting up a fence across Temple Valley, but they run to the Blackbirds for a second time. She concludes that the poachers are targeting an elephant herd throughout the valley, but the trio are invited to spend the night at an RV by accident. When they found Tally inside the RV, the Blackbirds revealed their true agenda as the poachers who have captured them, revealing the fence is electrified. So Eliza and Darwin are falling out, with Eliza angry telling Darwin to be quiet for once. But she meets a local Mubati boy named Boko, who is sent by his village elders to assist her. So the two reach the RV, but Sloane holds Debbie hostage. She was actually Eliza's sister the whole time. Sloane tries to kill Debbie if Eliza doesn't tell him how she discovered their plan. Eliza admits that it was because of her ability to talk to animals, but a storm comes and takes away her powers. But the Blackbirds escape, with Debbie, Darwin, Donnie, Eliza and Tally are riding along a log in the river. However, after the storm, Eliza tells Debbie about the ability to talk to animals, that she lost it because she revealed her secret to the Blackbirds. Does that sound very, very familiar to that scene from No Way Home where Doc Ock revealed his secret to the three Spideys, that he was actually a good guy all along, and Doctor Strange wasn't the only one trying to help the Spideys to do that, to take down the rest of the villains. Well, during the climax of that, within the process of that climax, Debbie reconciles with Eliza after she learns that Eliza gave up her powers to save Debbie, but they reach Temple Valley in time to see the herd heading for the fence. But she becomes doubtful of herself, reminding her she's been helping animals long before gaining her powers, restoring the confidence that she had. But the Blackbirds are riding a helicopter in order to summon their men to set off explosives, scaring the elephants, but the elephants charge toward the fence. Eliza triggers the fence's electricity permanently, and this causes the prematurely herd to stop temporarily. So this time, she convinces the lead elephant to turn around, but the infuriated Sloane throws Eliza into a river and attempts to shoot the elephants, a la Star Wars. And that reminds me of that one scene from Star Wars Return of the Jedi, the one where Darth Vader turns his back on Palpatine by throwing him into the bottomless pit of the Death Star. Wow! How good they are trying to remember that scene from Star Wars! Enough of the Star Wars references. Or Spider-Man. But they pull the helicopter out of the air on its rope ladder and string. But both Sloane and Bree fall. But Eliza drowns until Minyabu saves her. But Minyabu praises Eliza for saving the powers for a secret. Following the eclipse, the Blackbirds have survived the fall, but they get arrested by Rangers. Eliza reconciles with Darwin and she reunites with her family, who decide they don't want to send her back to boarding school because she saved the elephants. Boca returns to the village, keeping Debbie's watch as a memento. The Thornberrys return to Savannah, where Eliza reunites Tally with his family. Eliza tells Debbie she will turn to a baboon if she reveals the secret. Much to her anger, the process frightens the baboons that Nigel was filming with Marianne. One of them activates the radio, which plays the music that the baboons are dancing to. Although this is the only movie where Nigel never got a chance to say smashing. For some reason, even for a kids film, when this came out on December 20th, 2002, it had Father and Daughter by Paul Simon. However, it lost to Lose Yourself by Eminem from 8 Mile. Since then, it was quite divisive that it had a budget of $25 million and grossed up to $60.7 million. However, for that, despite having positive reviews that grossed more than $60 million worldwide, this is how this film felt like. Despite the special effects of its animation, CGI animation, and use of hand-painted cells at that time, I appreciate the characters and the prose, the positive elements and spiritual content. Science and nature are quite interesting, and the importance of family is a big theme to Nickelodeon, as well as on the big screen. Just because Eliza didn't want filmmaking to keep her family from being together, she just wants to keep Eliza away to be safe. But Nigel's dad, Rafkin, tells Marion that kids will be safe because they were raised you. If they were raised by you, that's kind of ordinary to think of. Despite the high regards of its positive reviews and critical acclaim, despite losing 8 Mile, there's too much bad qualities like Radcliffe kissing Marianne's forehead in a show of supportive love, and the numerous high action and scary scenes involving poachers and everywhere involving a fast-moving river and a storm of volts of electricity. And there were some negative qualities they had. They had a horse that passes gas very loudly, being called Thunder. And there was a shepherd's pie in the peas like bunny poop. And there's cool stuff like CDs, boots, and t-shirts. And there's no fear of man's greed and what God's creation was like. The conclusion of that central theme is that God's creation is always man's creation. And I'd personally like to give this movie Probably a solidly decent 8 out of 10. Yeah, I probably love seeing the Wild Thornberrys. They also had a crossover with Rugrats Go Wild as well. Yeah, I used to watch the Wild Thornberrys. It was like the animated series from Nickelodeon that inspired the cartoon Kipo. I appreciate the story about Nigel and his family. They always explore every continent within the environments of wildlife in an RV that they always had. When it comes to any terrains, they document the journeys in detail. They always found themselves in peril. That's an important central theme we can learn from. What we can learn from today's climate, it's kind of solidly decent, but with that from the way of life believed, despite running for a total of 5 seasons and 91 episodes from September 1st, 1998 to June 11, 2004, this one is by far one of my favourite Nicktoons growing up with. I know I adore Nicktoons. I adore Nickelodeon and CBS. So much than Warner Bros. Discovery or Cartoon Network or Disney Channel. With that out of the way, that's me for, yeah, if I want to go back on the kangaroo pouch. With that out of the way, I might say to you all now, have a good night for the next day. Bye-bye.